Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on the program today. Now, President Erdogan has been very clear that the archives dating back to 1915 are available to anyone interested on this topic. How can you help us better understand why this conflict was indeed not a genocide?
The first thing, which I think should be simple to understand, is in the law there's something called the presumption of innocence. And until you have a court adjudication with safeguards of due process finding someone guilty, innocence prevails. There has never been a court that's adjudicated an Armenian genocide claim. That was noted by the European Court of Human Rights in Forensic versus Switzerland in 2015. The International Court of Justice has been open to entertain genocide claims, including the Armenian claim, since 1951. The Armenians have chosen not to take their claim. They've chosen to make this a political football with donations and political savvy to convince legislators and executive officials to pronounce a genocide. But to say that, well, the history has judged a genocide is a non-statement. History doesn't judge anything. Only courts of law have authority to make criminal verdicts, and that has not been done in this case. If we look in any event at the events of 2015, they're very, very mixed, if you will. In Joe Biden's statement today, Mr. President Biden, I want to be respectful, he announces April 24th, 1915, when there were arrests of Ottoman Armenians as the beginning of the genocide. What he doesn't mention is none of the arrestees, were killed. They were not permanently detained. The arrests came on the heels of a huge uprising in Van, where thousands were killed, and Armenians were associating with Russians who were fighting Ottoman Turks in the World War I.
Right.
Similar to the way, anyway, I'm just stating that it's simple for the layman to understand. The reason why the statement is wrong is there's never been a court adjudication. Mr. Biden has no power to adjudicate crimes, neither do legislative bodies. And that's the beginning and end of the matter. If the Armenians want a court case, they have it in the International Court of Justice, which they haven't done.
Right, and Armenians and Turks lived side by side for 800 years, and it wasn't till Russia invaded eastern Anatolia which paved the way for Armenian separatist groups to claim autonomy. I think it's really important to understand that not every Armenian back then rebelled against the Ottoman Empire.
No, of course not. They were serving in the highest echelons of the civil service. They were known as the preferred minority in the Ottoman Empire. But of course, those who did aid the Russians, they become legitimate military targets. And indeed, if you look at the most contemporaneous statements by the Ottoman Armenians themselves, their leaders at the Paris Peace Conference in 1919, Bogus Nubar, they boast, yeah, we defected to the Russians and the French and the British. We fought for the Triple Entente. Those are the words of the Ottoman Armenians. Well, when you fight in a war and you get killed, whatever else it is, it's not genocide. It's a tragedy. War is legalized first-degree murder. But the Armenians, when they were speaking of the events of 1915 and World War I contemporaneously, described it as losses incurred during war, fighting for the Entente. And they said they suffered and were killed in disproportionate numbers because they were very brave. Well, that's wonderful. They may have been brave. There may have been war crimes as well. I know that the Ottoman Turks pronounced some war crimes. But whatever else it is, to die in war is not genocide. And that's a huge, I think, misunderstanding to assume that if you don't call it a genocide, then you say everyone was treated like a lamb. They're all hugged and kissed. That's not true. There are numerous gradations of wrongdoing in the criminal law, ranging from genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, murder, manslaughter. And to say there wasn't a genocide doesn't say there wasn't wrongdoing. And to force people into saying they're either genocide or not, or you believe nothing happened, is a wrongful effort to try to distort judgments.
Okay, Bruce Fein, unfortunately, that's all the time I have left, but it was a pleasure having you here on TRT World. Thank you for that insight.
Thank you.